And in freedom, most people find sin.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That is perfect. Well, I mean, because, I mean, in a religical.
Religical?
Why isn't that a word?
That's religical.
That is a good.
That's a religical experience.
So
that's a t-shirt right there.
Religical. Holy shit.
So we got 2 t-shirts on this one.
Religical. So anyway, in religious oh my gosh, I can't even think straight now that I said that. Read the quote one more time once I get my brain power back.
Okay. And in freedom, most people find sin.
Yes.
So this one resonated with me because Eric knows this, but a lot of people know this, but you may not. So I almost always vote pretty straight libertarian.
Yeah.
This election, I've been wrestling, and it's thanks to fucking Dr. Peterson again. Because he has, again, I watched another video of his, and he said something that really, really made me think. And it was, in the United States specifically, we spend so much time talking about rights, but we almost never talk about responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started thinking, because libertarianism is, maximum freedom. Now, it's implied that there's responsibility there, but they almost never talk about it. They say things like personal responsibility, but they don't really go into what that means.
Well, they just give out with great power.
Essentially, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But, and I feel like I don't hear this too often in, like, the Second Amendment arguments, because everybody's so focused on the right to bear arms, but almost nobody really has a hard look at the responsibility side of that.
No,
because that's a huge responsibility. Huge. It's a huge responsibility. So I had a conversation today, actually.
Storing is definitely number one.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people don't correctly.
I had a conversation with my business partner today, actually, about, he was like, well, if you were president, or if you were because I had to explain to him, it's like, well, if I was president, I couldn't really do all that much, thankfully. But if I were in a position to do sweeping legislation of some kind, being pro Second Amendment, but okay, you have to be like pro Second Amendment, but also, try to mitigate gun violence. What are some things we could do?
Well, I agree, but the thing is, it's like, we don't have a gun problem. We have a people problem.
Yes, we have a people problem. But
it's the gun itself, just like
we're looking at it the wrong way.
Right.
We're asking the wrong questions. It's not gun control, it's dumbass control.
Yeah, and it's like, how do we do this? And if a certain, not law, but, restriction, stops. But the thing is, I don't know, that's slippery.
Well, so I'll tell you what I told him today. There were 2 things I came up with just out of the blue without thinking too much.
Hey guys, it's Jake from the Average Intelligence Podcast here. Listen, if you haven't already, can you please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe this video and watch some of our other content, and join our conversation on TikTok as well, because we're on TikTok and Instagram, but TikTok is the one where we seem to interact most with people on an individual level. And if you don't have TikTok, you can go ahead and click the link in the description, and that tells TikTok that we sent you there.
And I recently learned, I got clarification on this, because I've heard a private gun sale, you do not have to do a background check. Now, this is where the law gets a little screwy. As I understand it, if you're doing a private sale, it's illegal to sell a gun to someone that you know is a felon, but you don't have to check. That seems pretty goofy to me. Yeah, a little sus there. Because all you have to do is say, "Oh, I didn't know he was a felon." Now, if there's laws that prohibit that, I want to know about them. I'm just not aware of any.
Well, and the thing is, these rights differ between states. But the thing is, though, the law...
talking about Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So, and that to me seems like a massive loophole. So my whole thing was... But then I also listened to, oh gosh, what's his name? Something Noir. He's been on Joe Rogan before. He's a gun rights activist. But anyway, yeah, I forget the first name. It's a stage name anyway. But they were talking about waiting periods, and he's not a fan of them.
It's not the leader of the NRA, is it?
No. He's just he's a personality who used to be on NRA TV, but I guess
Okay.
he's not anymore. But he was talking about how he's not a fan of waiting periods, and he cites the example of like, let's say I have a neighbor who, let's say she has a stalker, and there's an imminent threat, and she's done everything right. She's got a restraining order, this, that, and the other, but she's obviously still potentially in danger. I agree with him. That woman should be able to go get a gun today.
Mm-hmm.
She also needs to pass a background check. Now, it's 2020. You can do a background check like that. It's instant.
Yeah, and if you're not, I don't know.
So, as long as you pass a background check and the gun owner, not the gun owner, the gun store has no reason to believe that you are mentally unfit, I say, yeah, you should be able to buy a gun. You pass your background check, and the store owner has no reason to suspect that you're not of sound mind and body. Sound mind. Yeah, you should be able to, in my opinion, you should be able to buy a gun. Now, obviously, everybody can come up with a situation where that's not going to work. But the main focus of this is how do we prevent the most bad people from getting guns while at the same time allowing the most good people to be able to get guns with as little hassle as possible, but to keep people safe.
It's tough.
It's tough, and that's why
no
it's
right or wrong
answer. And then the other thing I came up with, and again I had to explain this to him. So the Second Amendment prohibits the government from preventing you to be able to have firearms. It doesn't. I wouldn't be opposed to a license program. I really wouldn't. Because you still have the right to bear arms. It just requires a license. That's not infringing upon your right. Infringing upon your right is the government saying you cannot have guns.
Well, in a sense, you have to have permission. So is the government saying that you can't?
No, because, again, this is just my interpretation.
You have to get someone's permission to do it.
Kind of, though.
That's like, hey, England, can we go here?
I see what you mean, though, because they could theoretically revoke, but...
That's the thing about giving government too much power. But the thing is, I agree. There should be something.
Yeah, I think a license is the way to go with it.
Like I said, though, it's not a right or wrong answer when it comes.
Yeah, and that's where it gets tricky because I view restriction of being able to as making it illegal.
Right.
The government saying it is illegal for a private citizen. I would view that as a violation of the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. Requiring a license, I don't really view that as a violation personally. Now I know like the super pro Second Amendment people are like, well, fuck you. And I'm like, well, okay, but here's the other part of it. So
you don't shoot big red, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, and the other reason I'm a proponent of a license is because of the next thing, and this is going to piss some people off. I think if you have guns, you should be required by, well, I shouldn't say you should, but my proposal would be a caveat to gun ownership is the requirement to have gun liability insurance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Because and what that means, and this is
given time, something
and this is 3 reasons for this. 1, it covers your ass in the event something unfortunate happens,
like underwear.
That's so good.
They
2,
cover your ass when it's most important.
It discourages a gun owner from lending.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like if your ass is on the line.
Kyle Rittenhouse, his buddy let him borrow that gun.
Oh, God, how stupid can you be? And yes, I'm going to say that was stupid.
I don't think the kid would have gotten shot or hurt that night if he was just running around helping people.
I agree. No, that's the point I made when we were talking about it. Right. It's like, and even a concealed carry is different.
Concealed carry is like...
You're not looking for a fight.
I'm still tough, but the thing is, you don't know it. I am tough, but you don't know.
Well, you're not looking for a fight. Right. You strap an AR to your back.
It's like, I got big balls.
But
you want me to pull them out and show you? No, just kidding. No.
But do you?
Yeah, do you? No.
Yeah. So, and again, I think that's the point I kept making because I kept saying to you when we were having that conversation, it's like, okay, but why was he there? He was there with an AR strapped to his back. It's like, don't tell me again. That goes back to pay attention to the words people use, and also pay attention to their actions. If you're there to help people, that should be a backpack full of medical supplies, not an AR. And if you want self-defense, conceal carry, or here's the best one, don't be there. finish your EMT training, and then when you're licensed and able,
I thought about what you said on that night, and I was like, and the thing is, I said it multiple times. I agreed. He shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, just like your quote earlier, he was already there and doing this, so like, why dwell on what could have been?
Right, and again, that's what my lens was viewing it as a situation.
I know.
And seeing like, okay, where did things go awry here?
Honestly, just being there.
Yeah.